Imani Smith's early life placed her in a world few children experience. Between 2011 and 2012, she performed in Disney's The Lion King on Broadway, one of the longest-running and most celebrated productions in theater history. In the role of young Nala, she appeared before thousands of audience members, night after night. According to family statements and publicly shared tributes, that experience shaped her sense of discipline, creativity, and confidence. Those close to her later described her as expressive, driven, and deeply connected to those she cared about. But like many former child performers, her life eventually moved away from public attention. As she grew older, her focus shifted toward personal stability, family, and motherhood. This quieter chapter of her life received little public notice until December 2024. According to information released by authorities in Middlesex County, New Jersey, emergency services received a 911 call shortly after 9:15 a.m. on December 23rd. The call reported a serious incident at a residence in Edison. When officers arrived, they found 26-year-old Imani Smith with critical injuries. She was transported to Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, where she was later pronounced dead, according to official statements. From the outset, investigators emphasized a key detail. This was not believed to be a random act. That clarification immediately reframed public understanding and raised questions about the circumstances leading up to that morning. Authorities later announced the arrest of Jordan D. Jackson Small, a 35-year-old man from Edison, in connection with Smith's death. Officials stated that the two individuals were known to each other prior to the incident. In a phone interview with CNN, Smith's father said that Jackson Small is the father of her 3-year-old son. This information, shared publicly by family, added significant context, placing the situation within the framework of a personal relationship rather than an isolated encounter. Officials have remained cautious in their language, noting that details are limited due to the ongoing investigation. Jackson Small is currently being held in custody and faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder and possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose. It is important to emphasize that these are allegations, and that guilt or innocence will be determined through the judicial process. In cases like this, the words used by authorities and media outlets are carefully chosen. Terms such as allegedly, according to investigators, and based on publicly available information are not formalities. They are safeguards. They protect the integrity of legal proceedings, prevent misinformation, and help ensure that public discussion does not become judgment before due process. This careful approach can sometimes feel unsatisfying, especially when emotions are high, but it serves a critical purpose. As the news spread, reactions came from multiple communities: theater fans, parents, former colleagues, and local residents. Many expressed shock at the contrast between Smith's early public achievements and the circumstances surrounding her death. A GoFundMe campaign organized by her family described her as vivacious, loving, and fiercely talented. The fundraiser, intended to support her young son and family, raised more than $70,000, reflecting how deeply her life impacted those around her. Messages left by donors often carried similar themes: remembrance, compassion, and disbelief at how quickly life can change. When authorities state that an incident is not random, it signals that context exists, often rooted in interpersonal dynamics that develop over time. These situations rarely announce themselves publicly. They unfold behind closed doors, within relationships that outsiders know little about. This reality challenges the way many people think about safety and predictability, not because it encourages fear, but because it highlights the complexity of human relationships. As the case proceeds, information will continue to emerge gradually. Court appearances, evidence review, and legal arguments take time. During this period, officials typically limit public commentary to avoid compromising proceedings. For families, this waiting period can be especially difficult. Grief paired with uncertainty. For the public, it requires patience and restraint. Beyond the legal aspects, many have emphasized the importance of remembering who Imani Smith was, not only how her life ended. She was a former performer, a mother, a daughter, and a sister. She was part of a community that remembers her not for headlines, but for her presence, creativity, and care for her child. Reducing her story to a single event would overlook the fullness of her life. Stories like this resonate because they touch on universal themes: potential, responsibility, relationships, and the fragility of everyday life. They remind us that not all turning points are visible until after they occur. And that understanding requires context, not assumptions. Responsible storytelling doesn't seek shock value. It seeks clarity. This story is not just about a former Broadway performer or a single legal case. It's about how private relationships can carry serious consequences and why careful, ethical reporting matters, especially when lives are affected. Understanding these situations means acknowledging what we know, respecting what we don't, and allowing the legal process to unfold without speculation. In the next video, we'll take a broader look at how cases like this move through the justice system, what the public can reasonably expect to learn during investigations, and why patience is often the most responsible response.